Hi, I'm Hugh Fullerton-Smith. I'm Veterinary Director at Venn Healthcare Limited. We've been carrying out a trial with the ActiVet Pro laser made by Radiance, for whom we're exclusive distributors in the UK and Ireland. And we've had a rather spectacular result that I'd like to share with you at the Caledonia Dressage Horses in East Sutherland. I just wanted to introduce the film that we're going to make. We're going to step outside in the moment and meet Ray Campbell, the proprietor of Caledonia Dressage Horses. But I think what you're going to see now and what this little pocket portable device can do, being a class 1 laser, we don't need to wear goggles, and nor does the patient. The transfer of energy into these damaged tissues is quite extraordinary. So I hope you enjoy what you're about to see, and it's rather a spectacular result that we're quite astonished by. Thanks very much. Hi, I'm with Ray Campbell. She's the proprietor and founder of Caledonia Dressage Horses in East Sutherland in Scotland. Ray gave me a call about 2.5 weeks ago and told me she had a significant problem with a very valuable story.
Okay, well this is Scarlet Caledonia. She's a 4-year-old dressage bred mare by Sir Donahall out of a Don Schufro mare, if anyone's interested in the if anyone's a breeding buff. Yeah. She's a super mare. Last year we discovered that she had an ovarian tumour, and as we'd certainly like to be able to be in the position to take embryos from her, and also it was critical for her health, it had to be removed. The problem was that the wound wouldn't heal, and over a period of a couple of months we just couldn't get it to heal, and there seemed to be a mass in behind it. So she was eventually sent back to the person who did the original operation. They opened her up and found that there was a orange-sized mass in there, which possibly had a foreign body or possibly was an allergic reaction to something that had been used in the operation.
And the wound was about 3 inches in diameter.
Yeah, initially when she came back she had a wound that was stitched up looking quite nice. Within 4 or 5 days the wound completely broke down and became about 3.5 inches. The stitches had broken down completely, and so the wound was about this big. The stitches had broken down completely and the vet advised us to take them out.
Well, what I'm going to say now is that at this point we'll actually put in some still pictures of just how dramatic the wound was.
So they can... once we'd taken the stitches out, the wound just had a very big cavity in behind it. It was very infected. The mare was on an antibiotic, and I was feeling fairly desperate when I saw the size of the wound, and the vet said that we would be looking at 6 to 8 weeks healing time on a wound of this size.
And you involved the Royal Veterinary School in Edinburgh, hadn't you?
Yes, it was the vet who did the operation was from the Edinburgh.
Okay. But just our American guests watching this video will sort of appreciate the whole sort of link here.
Yeah. We actually called the vet out when the wound started to break down, our local vet, and a swab was taken as well, which took 4 or 5 days for the swab results to come back. So she was already on an antibiotic when I called Panchin and Hugh on the moment of desperation, because I wanted to try and see if it could do anything for us.
So this was a golden opportunity for me to bring the ActiVet Pro over to Ray to use. We ran through how the device worked. I gave her the manual, and we began treatment immediately. And the first thing, of course, that we recommended was doing the unwind protocol to relax the horse. So can you actually just demonstrate how you used to
Absolutely.
do that, right?
So it's very easy to work this machine. You just start. Now this is such an easy thing to use that I can do it without the mare even having a head collar on. And basically I just run it along the side of her mane, really along the side of her spine at a very slow rate, so about a centimetre a second. Can you keep her head still? And
Yeah, that's cool. And maybe you could just sort of run it down
so
extra
I'll just
fast.
carry on along her body just to show you
Yeah,
the
that's-
line that I take.
Perfect.
So normally this would take 2.5 minutes all the way along here, and then I go back to the other side and I start
And down
again.
the other side.
So that's the unwind procedure.
Yeah. So that's actually releasing a lot of extra blood flow, etc., into the body that finds its way to the wound and just generally relaxes horses. So we tend to use just 50 hertz on an older animal on the unwind protocol, or 1,000 hertz on a younger animal. So then, Ray, when the wound that we're showing on the video was, you first started the treatment, I recommended using the blue light, which is great at knocking MRSA, infections and things out of the park. So you turn it on to blue, maybe you could.
Right, so again we to the wound. Now this mare had a complex, the second swab that came back to us, this mare had a complex number of bacteria in the wound. The first lot of antibiotic hadn't addressed them, and so we were given another antibiotic to use. But because the mare was healing so well, I actually decided not to use it.
Yeah.
And
did you combine any of your daily treatments with some infrared as well on around the
absolutely.
wound? Yeah.
So this is the first treatment I would do.
Yeah.
This would be 3 minutes using the blue light.
Yeah.
And I just move it just gently round the area of the wound.
And
So-
when you see the pictures, you'll be absolutely astonished about how this wound, and Ray, you say how astonished you have been.
Well, it's been absolutely extraordinary. This horse had a open wound, which a horrible depth to it. It was possible to see all the tissue in behind. It was infected, and it was really nasty. My heart sank when I saw how bad it was. I'd actually been in Germany for 2 or 3 days and came back to find this horse with this wound completely broken down, and a wound which should have been quite straightforward to treat was suddenly becoming
Yeah.
pretty serious.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So,
And then you put the red light on for...
so the next treatment she had. At a different strength, and I would just go round the area of the wound.
Well, that's fantastic, Ray.
So and honestly, the wound healing has been nothing short of sensational. I mean, this was a massive wound with a massive hole in her, and every day you'd come in, we've had it covered up, and every day I was also putting Manuka honey in it as
Yeah.
well, high-grade Manuka honey.
I hope it was New Zealand.
It was indeed, of course. And in the last 3 days, we've no longer covering it. Now, it's exactly 15 days, now probably a little bit more, 17 days from the original.
Yeah, and how long did the vets estimate on the course of
6
antibiotics?
to 8, well, the vet suggested that it would take 6 to 8 weeks to heal.
Yeah,
And in 2 weeks, we've had a wound which is, to all intents and purposes, healed and
just a
uncovered.
scab there, really.
It's just a scab, and it's
Yeah.
closing in beautifully. There's a little bit of swelling in behind it, but nothing significant. So all in all, quite remarkable. I mean, these bits here are
Yeah.
from the dressings that we've had on her.
Yes.
But I mean, I just think it's remarkable.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good girl.
Well, that's a great result.
And the other thing is that it's so easy and non-invasive to use that I can actually come in and treat her without even a head
and
collar
at
on.
any temperature as well.
Yeah, no, it doesn't upset them at all. In fact, they quite enjoy it.
Yeah, fantastic.
So,
Well, that's a great story.
and you'll
we'll,
see she's
yeah,
not slightly upset.
we'll actually show some video of the actual treatment going on when the wound was at its very worst. So many thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
And it's great.
Well, I'm delighted. I have
Yeah.
to say it's exceeded. I mean, I'm always pretty excited about trying new treatments, but always sceptical as well. And this is way exceeded.
And just tell us quickly about Caledonia Dressage Horses, the bloodlines, etc.
Yeah, these are basically German bred mares that I've got. I've got 18 foals coming this year. I've got a selection of really outstanding mares, some of whom are imported, some of whom are homebred mares from very, very good families. And we've got quite a breeding operation going on up here.
Yeah, and you do all your own AI.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why you're such a good practitioner.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've spent my whole life with horses and I've dealt with an awful lot of dramas. So I have to say, you know, having dealt with so many dramas and seeing a healing of this magnitude is quite remarkable.
Well, for Venn Healthcare, it's been a really privilege to help out on our first test case.
Yeah,
and
in Sutherland.
yeah,
in
10
Scotland.
miles from where I live.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been brilliant. So thanks very much.
You're
Ray.
very welcome.
Thank you.
Mm.